welcome back, everyone. Laura, are we going to go hop through the slides, or do we want to hop right into the conversation?
Yeah, we're doing a fast one today, so let's just do it.
All right. So this month's book is What I Know for Sure by Oprah Winfrey. So what's next month? Because one of the participants who couldn't come today actually already started reading that book and loves it. Radical Conversation. Radical Candor. He said it's amazing.
Really?
He cannot wait.
Sounded cool. Yeah.
Yes. Sweet. And he has already implemented some of that in his own practice and had really positive results. So I'm really excited.
Radical Candor.
Radical Candor is next month. I am Lisa Sears. We'll do a little bit of for the recording. I'm Lisa Sears. I have two businesses. I'm a business coach and consultant, usually with capacity building in mind. And one of the co-founders of this group, and our other is Laura. Did you want to say hi, Laura?
Hi, Laura. Yes, I business consultant, photographer, career coach, and most recent, well, I guess author in progress, and just recently added executive TV show producer to my bag of tricks. So,
wow. But she's got nothing going on.
New things. I love it.
And Kim's in the waiting room
for our little meeting today.
And so, Jerry, did you want to just say hi as well?
Sure. I am Jerry Nolan, and I am a financial advisor. I work with individuals, small companies, lots of women, some special needs. Love what I do. Love networking and learning with women. So this is a great spot for me.
Great. How about you, Nicole?
I'm Nicole Simmons, and I'm a mom, a substitute teacher in the Syracuse City School District, but also owner of Relationship Matters, LLC. I'm a consultant, and I help parents and professionals learn the Nurtured Heart approach to help strengthen and transform their relationships.
Love it. Thanks, Nicole. How about you, Kim?
Hi, Kim Tapley. I am in sunny Tampa, Florida, and I work in the environmental regulatory field.
Kim, I know you're just joining us. Laura has a meeting at 12:30, so we're just going to kind of go through the short round robin of this book in particular. For those of for Kim and Laura and I, we were in the book club last year. This was one of the books that was voted to reread. So I'm interested to hear that, as well as some of our newer members kind of take on the book. So Laura, did you want to kick us off?
Sure. I had to mute myself because my cat's right here snoring. So I don't know if you can hear him. That's really cute. I love this book. I loved it the first time. It was really nice to listen to while I was walking. I find it just very uplifting. You know, it's just a collection of stories. So there's no start and end. It's just kind of, here's a great thought, here's another great thought. And I love to hear her personal stories. I love the way she talks. It's different than a typical, she's got lots of variety in her voice and mimics other voices that are not always very accurate, but they're funny to hear. So it's a little distracting at some points, but also I like her personality coming through on it. But I had so many bookmarks so I had got it from the library. Unfortunately, when you re-download it from the library, it holds your bookmarks. So I was able to see what I had marked the first time. So I added more bookmarks, but there was one part that I marked in the book that I literally called it best part of this book. And it's kind of early on. She's talking about how you don't need approval from outside people, and you really can only be free in your authentic self until you own you stop thinking caring what other people think, and then this one quote just really hits me every time, is no matter where you are no matter where you are a single choice away from a new beginning. Which, I just love that. I'm like, yeah, so you could just start over tomorrow, and there's a couple other stories, like personal stories. I love the one about her father and voting. It's so sad that her father had an opportunity to vote in the 60s and then walked to the place and got turned down, and walked to another place and turned down, and walked to the last place and it was closed, and like, and then died before he got to the chance to vote. And then so for her, so this is the role model way, right? So for her, she's like, that's something I have to role model, and it's important for me to take that on and make sure that people are using that right, especially women. And then there's some discussion about the statistics of women who vote, and that, you know, we're really throwing that away when we don't get out there and exercise that right. And then the story about her just learning to love herself, because maybe she didn't get the type of caring that one would expect from role model parents, you know, and not dragging that along with her and everything. So there's a lot more, but those were kind of like the highlights for me. But what I did this time is so I didn't have time to read it, but what I did was, while I was going, instead of listening to my meditation on my app, I would put the library book on and hit play. And I thought I was setting it for half an hour, but every morning I would wake up and it was all the way to the end. So I'm like, I must have fallen asleep within 30 minutes, but it still played. So all night long for 4 hours every night. I think I probably went through it like 5 times. So I'm picturing like Oprah's words just absorbing into my brain. But I enjoyed it just as much, or if not more, than the first time around.
Great. Do you want to pass the baton to somebody?
Let's hear from somebody who's reading it for the first time. Maybe Nicole.
Sure. So I was excited when I found out we were reading this book, because I already had it, but I had not finished reading it. When I pulled it from my bookshelf, I found the bookmark maybe a third of the way in, and I don't know why I stopped. I can't imagine why I stopped, because it was great. I earmarked so many. I initially wasn't highlighting or earmarking anything because I thought this is something I'd like to go back and read again at another time. And I don't want to be tainted or influenced by what I might have noted the first time. But then, you know, I don't know, halfway through and I was like, oh no, I can't, I have to earmark, I have to highlight, I just have to, I can't not do that anymore. There was just so much. I love that, you know, every couple of pages, it's just this nugget of wisdom. There was so much that she said that resonated with me. I mean, there was a couple of parts where I was like, holy crap, like this sounds like this in my life, like, whoa. I especially like how she says the key to any relationship is communication. And I've always thought that communication is like a dance. One person takes a step forward, the other takes a step back. Even a single misstep can land both people on the floor in a tangle of confusion. And when you find yourself in that position with your spouse, your colleague, your friend, your child, I found that the best option is always to ask the other person, what do you really want here? Ooh, I can just feel myself like getting warm because, yeah, that just, I don't know, that resonated with me. So did gratitude can transform any situation. It alters your vibration, moving you from negative energy to positive energy. I'm constantly trying to help my kids reset to gratitude when they're cranky or, you know, feeling some kind of way. Before we eat dinner, we go around and say what we're grateful for. And sometimes I have to kind of steer them a little bit because they'll say, I'm grateful, I went to the mall. And I was like, so it sounds like you're glad you went to the mall. What's something that, you know, you're actually grateful for today, you know, and just kind of make it a little more poignant for them to really pick apart those things in every day that we can appreciate, you know, the beautiful weather or the fact that we're family or, you know, the time we spend together, whatever, our health. So I appreciated that. And I mean, I could go on because I earmarked so much. But the other thing I would just say quickly is when she says, what happens when you work hard at something unfulfilling? It drains your spirit. It robs you of your life force. You end up depleted, depressed, and angry. And I thought, oh, dang. And she said, starting over begins with looking inward. And I love how much she talks about needing to be still, needing to be quiet, listening to yourself, drowning out all the crap on the, you know, from other people, from the media, from your friends. So yeah, this was great. Thank you for choosing it.
Well, I'm glad it came back up in rotation. That was wonderful.
I hope it comes up next year. I would vote for it.
Did you want to?
Yes.
Thank you for that, Nicole. Do you want to pass the baton to somebody else?
Passing it to Kim.
All right. So I found the perfect quote for this book and this club that we are in, since we did read it last year. At first, I was disappointed that we were reading, the same book again. That's just me. I don't normally pick up a book twice, but I have found that it is very beneficial because I've changed even in just a year. So on page 94 at the bottom, it says, "You're not the same woman that you were a decade ago. If you're lucky, you're not the same woman you were last year. The whole point of aging, as I see it, is to change. If we let them, our experiences can keep teaching us about ourselves." I thought that is absolutely a perfect way to describe this book and our journey with this leadership group. As Laura and Lisa know, last year at first when I read it, I wasn't too fond of it just because I didn't relate. She's talking about being in Maui and things like that, and I like to try and relate to the author. But Nicole's absolutely right. Those nuggets of wisdom are just amazing. Like you want to write them down on sticky notes and post them all over your bathroom mirror. And this year I got Discovery Plus, and I don't know if y'all have seen that, but Oprah has her own network on Discovery Plus. It's really cheap. It's like $5.99 a month or something. But she does master classes where she will either interview someone or someone is interviewing her, and she's got 2 of them on there of herself. And I know she had a hard time growing up and stuff, but I didn't know the details. And if you watch those master classes and then read the book, you're like, oh my God, this woman is amazing. So I highly recommend you doing that. And then one last thing that I wrote down is on page 76. Sometimes we get so focused on the difficulty of our climb that we lose sight of being grateful for simply having a mountain to climb. And I use that as the pillar analogy. A lot of people say, oh, you're at the top of the pillar, the only way to go is down. And for the longest time, I believed that, in school, if you get an A on a science test, well, the only thing left to do now is get a B or a C. You're at the top. One misstep and you're falling down. But it's not like that in the real world. You got to change your mentality. It's about climbing that mountain, taking those next steps. Yeah. So you got an A in science class. Okay. Your next step is getting an A in a math class or getting an A in an English class. So you always keep climbing. So those are really my 2 big takeaways from the book, and I will hand it over to Jerry.
Okay, thank you. So, it was weird because my first feeling was that it was a feel-good book, and I loved it, and some of it reinforced stuff, but then, and it was like, yes, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I want to live, and then it started going like layers and layers and layers deeper for me. And some of the things actually just kind of came out while you guys were talking of why certain things resonated with me so much. And so I don't know if probably nobody on this call besides Lisa, but I'm going to tell you just a teeny bit about my ancient history. So when I was super young, I was smarter than everybody, and I moved to Texas, and I married a Black man who was not a good person. And then I was afraid to leave him because I was afraid of hearing how many I told you so's, because they were going to think that, he was Black. That was the bad thing, instead of he was just a bad person. You know what I mean? Like I was all like wound up in my own head. But when I was living that life, like inside, it was almost like I lived partially like a Black person, which obviously I can't, but I was living in, poor Black neighborhood, living, like, anyway. So, and then ultimately getting out of the situation, which was very, very scary because he was really abusive and controlling and alcoholic and drug addicted and lots of really bad problems. It was the church that got me out. And so when she used her Southern Black voice, it was very calming to me. And it just made me feel really, really good. And I didn't really know why. So I listened to it once and then I started listening to it again. And I would listen to it in 10 or 15 minute intervals when I was driving anywhere. And it was just like getting little nuggets, every single day. And so one thing that was it was like all these roads that I had traveled, and one like 77, it says, my life is still crazy busy. Hello. So it's like, it's always going to be, it's just, if that's who you are, it's always going to be. But the grateful part, and it was really cool, really, really cool. And her perspective of how she hopes and wants to be the best person, and how she, tries to give back, and but still taking care of herself and unapologetically being, crazy successful. And I think that as women, we have a really hard time doing that. And in another part that just struck me to my core was when she talked about what it's like for girls and women in other countries. And I don't know where it was, because it was on the audio that I remember it so vividly. She said, if you are a woman and you are in the United States of America, you are you have no idea how fortunate you are. And I think that so often we get off on our, the men get all this and, all these things against us, but we don't really think about all the opportunities that we do have. I mean, in reality, I cannot say that, my career was ever set back or that I ever got any less because I was a woman, and I think we don't celebrate that. And that was just a super cool thing. When she talked about, getting rid of stuff, that's something that not that I do a great job at, but focusing on how much lighter and clearer, and, when you're not literally thinking about all the stuff that you have. And then, where was it? Nothing can bring you peace but yourself. No matter where we all come from, we all have our own journey. And then the laughing with your friend until your sides hurt. But maybe I can't find it right this minute, but it was something, oh shoot, I can't find it, but it had to do with the last, it was actually part of what, here it is. It was part of what one of you said. Nicole, you're not the same woman you were a decade ago. Did you say that one? Page 94? No. Kim did. Okay. So Kim, so then I kept on reading, and I hadn't heard it this way before, but then as I read it in the book, the part that hit me deep was, you're not the same woman you were a decade ago. If you're lucky, you're not the same woman you were last year. The whole point of aging, as I see it, is change. If we let them, our experiences can keep teaching us about ourselves. I celebrate that, honor it, hold it in reverence, and this is it. And I'm grateful for every age I'm blessed to become. I've been letting the number get in my head a little bit, probably because I'm a financial planner and I could take Social Security last year. and so, and I know when I'm planning for my clients, that have, 30 and 40 years to go, that I can't be with them when we get there. So I've let that number get in my head a little bit, and it's like, no, not at all. So that was a really kind of long rant, maybe more. Oh, and then the one decision away from change. That it's just like, bam. So I did truly enjoy it, obviously.
I love all of that. I think that this was like, I feel like sometimes I have coaching sessions that are an hour, and sometimes when we jump on for 15 minutes, we get like so much stuff done. This was really great. I do know that Laura has this really important meeting at 12:30. So I do think, like, as women and want to lift her up, I want to give her a couple minutes to just take a deep breath before that meeting. Thank you all. Like, I really enjoy this conversation with all of you. And so our book next month is whatever it is. Can't even think of it. Radical Candor. Super excited about it. Thank you all for coming. And
Kim Scott, Radical Candor by Kim Scott.
By Kim Scott. So we'll wrap it up just to make sure Laura has 2 minutes. Thank you all.
Grateful for all of you. Can't wait
Have
for
a
the
great
next one.
month.
Have a great day. Have a great month.
You too.
Bye.